Good evening, everyone. This is the Board of Trustees regular meeting. The date is May 24th, 2016 at 7:30 p.m. on the dot. This is meeting 2016-11. Clerk Quinlan, please take the roll.
President Barry?
Here.
Trustee Strike?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Here.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Here.
Trustee Desmond?
Here.
Trustee Carberry?
Here.
And Trustee Vorder.
Present.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you. Would everyone rise, please, for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you, everyone. Item 3 tonight is public comments. We're going to start the evening with public comments from Eamon McMahon because many people are commenting what I imagine is the first time at one of these meetings. We ask that you come to the podium, state your name, and then you have 3 minutes. And we have a lot of commenters, so I'm going to keep it to 3 minutes, and that's the restriction. So Eamon McMahon, please. And you're talking about special use permit for Anthem Memory Care. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Could you state your name and let us know if you're an Oak Lawn resident?
My name is Eamon McMahon, and I live at 10405 South Karlov Avenue in Oak Lawn. I'm a proud union carpenter, and I currently serve as business agent for the Chicago Regional Council of Carpenters and as financial secretary of Carpenters Local 141. First, I'd like to say that I respect and I empathize with every resident who has showed up here today to voice their concerns. I value your opinions, and I would share your concerns if a building like this were proposed in my neighborhood. Changes like this can be very emotional, and I hope to shed light on some of the real benefits that can be seen when we separate our emotions from the economic equation in front of us. I have a few questions, a few comments that I'd like included in the discussion. What is the value of the development? We were told that this development is valued at $8.7 million. $8.7 million infused into any neighborhood is going to have a positive effect. What kind of tax revenue will this generate each year? We were told that $300,000 to $400,000 will be generated from this development once it's finished and operating. Right now, that property generates zero tax revenue because there's an exemption. So obviously, there's a big benefit there. Next is how many jobs will this project generate? The equivalent of 45 new full-time permanent positions will be created, combining part-time and full-time hours. So it's actually maybe a little more than 45. There's going to be some part-time positions. So a minimum of 45 families, somewhat more than that, will be affected in a positive way by this development on a permanent level, on a permanent basis. And then we have the construction jobs that are generated, dozens of them, maybe 100 or more. It's obvious that benefits all the construction workers, whom I represent about 300 of them in Oak Lawn here. The beautification of the area is another benefit to the community. At the moment, there stands a maintenance shack and a school bus parking lot surrounded by barbed wire and cyclone fencing. It's utilitarian, it serves its function, it isn't much to look at. The proposed building is much more appealing aesthetically. There are improvements engineered to it that comply with the sanitary district's requirements for drainage of stormwater, and traffic will be alleviated by the elimination of school bus traffic. Now, as I stated earlier, I empathize with the neighbors on this project because the proposal is a big change in their landscape, and changes like this are always emotional. We're dealing with where and how people have raised their kids, and all respect should be paid to those affected most by this change. That's why I encourage this board to explore ways to ease the pain of these people, maybe in the form of tax rebates generated by the increase in revenue, maybe in some other actual improvement in the services or the public facilities in the immediate area.
Thank you very much. That's the 3 minutes, sir. I'm sorry to cut you off. Thank you.
Thank you.
And was it Agata Kleka? Agatha, Klejka. Okay. Tom Taylor.
Good evening.
Hello. Could you let us know your name, sir, and
I
if you're an
will.
Oak Lawn resident, please?
Hi, my name's Tom Taylor. I live in over on 102nd and Kedvale in Oak Lawn. I moved in the year 2000. It's kind of a personal issue, the whole Alzheimer's thing. I lost my mother in February to Alzheimer's, and about 7 years before she passed, we had to find a place, and we couldn't find a place that was near our house. So my mother was a realtor in Oak Lawn for 25 years. And her friends and family all lived in Oak Lawn. And unfortunately, we had to put her in Alvernia Manor for her care, which is in Lamont. And it wasn't a big deal for her children, her 7 children, to go and see her there. But it was a big deal for her contemporaries, her friends. They couldn't go see her because it's a 40-minute ride in a car and they didn't drive. So it's a hard thing to watch someone that you love not have a place where they could stay in the community that they lived in and worked in. It's still an emotional issue for me, so it's hard to talk about, but the community needs something like this. People are aging. These are people that have a neurological disease. They're not dangerous. They're just confused. And I hope that everybody looks past the fact that this is going to be an inconvenience to some people that live in the community, that live near there. It will be some change, but it's positive. It's good things for the people in the community. And I guess that's about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Next is Gerald Zenner regarding the special use permit. Mr. Gerald Zenner. Heather Morse. Is Heather Morse here to speak? I don't know if people just signed in just to sign in. Is it David Cox? Mr. David Cox, are you here to speak? Okay, no problem. Thanks for letting us know. Mr. John Hall. Hi, Mr. Hall.
Hi. My name's John Hall. I'm an Oak Lawn resident. I'm also a business agent for Architectural and Ornamental Ironworkers Local 63. And I just want to reiterate what these gentlemen said. But nobody ever regrets progress. You know, new things are a little bit scary. But when we have a building here that's going to create tax revenue, it's going to create jobs for people, I think it's something that we got to do that this community needs. And also it's going to create a location nearby for memory care patients, so residents of Oak Lawn can send their relatives there if need be for care, and they don't have to drive to the outlying suburbs. We see that in Beverly and Evergreen Park. There were 2 of these facilities that were built. They turned out they're beautiful facilities, and they were a success story. So I ask that the board support this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Mike Masalayo. Mike, hi.
Yes,
Sorry I
Mayor.
mispronounced
No,
that.
you did great. Thank you for hearing us out today. Appreciate your time.
Please let us know your name.
My name is Mike
and-
Maslow. I live in Evergreen Park.
Thank you.
I am also the Secretary Treasurer of the Chicago and Cook County Building and Construction Trades. Yes, we support the construction of this building, but I'm here as a resident of Evergreen Park to tell you that we went through a similar process a few years ago. The Mercy Nuns built a senior retirement home on 99th and Central Park. My wife and I lived a few blocks down from it, and everyone said it was going to be the worst thing that ever happened in the neighborhood. They built the home. My wife and I moved. We moved closer to it. We moved into my wife's grandmother's house when she passed away from dementia. This would be a benefit to the community. My mother-in-law is alone and has said many times that she hopes there are more facilities that might be an option for her if she faces that difficulty. So I would ask this board to strongly consider supporting this project. I think it'd be beneficial to the people of Oak Lawn and Evergreen Park and all the communities nearby. We could all, have a nice place for, our relatives if need be, and God willing, none of them need it, but if they do, it's there, for them to use. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next is Dan Lepescu, speaking also about Anthem Memory Care. Hi, Dan.
Hi, I'm Dan Lepescu. I live in District 1. Lived in Oak Lawn mostly since the 80s. I was gone for a short time, but came back. And I can appreciate a lot of what's been said already here today. A lot of the heartfelt stories about, older people with dementia. My grandfather had a stroke and quickly declined into dementia. And he was at a facility over in Palos Heights. It wasn't that far of a drive for me. We went and visited him daily. It's really difficult seeing him like that, but I know people who've gone through that have that. So I don't think anybody who's against the facility is against taking care of seniors. I don't think anybody's against taking care of dementia patients. I really don't think that's the case. I think that the issue here really is that these people live in this neighborhood and they thought it would stay a residential neighborhood and be just a residential neighborhood where they can retire at. This facility is big. It's not a small facility. It's going to really change the landscape of the people that live directly next to it. And now that's something I've heard, is that one of the opposition statements is, well, you wouldn't want this next to your house, or you wouldn't want this in your neighborhood. Well, we're all neighbors. We all live in Oak Lawn. The people who live directly next to this don't want it. That's it. They just don't want it. The trustee for the district doesn't want it. The people clearly in that district do not want it. So I don't think that my District 1 trustee should vote for this. I don't think that it really brings any value to District 1, and I'd like to see him vote against it. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Lepescu. Ms. Sue Andrews. Sue is also speaking on Anthem. And Sue, please state your name and if you're an Oak Lawn resident. Thank you.
My name is Sue Andrews, and I reside at 5710 West 101st Street. I'm here this evening to ask you, our elected Board of Trustees, to vote no on the special use permit requested by Anthem Memory Care. The village recently took initiative, acting as the petitioner, seeking to preserve the essential character of a single-family neighborhood by updating a spot zoning from R3 to R1 for an existing structure and home. In the petition, you stated that you believe the surrounding property values would decrease if this lot were to remain zoned as multifamily for a multitude of reasons, namely that the destruction of the property values would not support the health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the public, particularly the residents, and the surrounding neighborhood. Furthermore, the petition stated the continued use of this lot as multifamily would overcrowd the immediate areas and put unnecessary stress on the residents of the surrounding neighborhood. This property is the last house on the east before the commercial element of 92nd and Cicero. Since the first public hearing notice was posted for Anthem Memory Care, our neighborhood has attended every meeting in large numbers to ask questions and voice opposition to the proposed site of the facility. We compiled factual information, including sources, in the absence of any specifics from Anthem Memory Care. And yet we are still here this evening with the fate and the future of our neighborhood in your hands. This is not a lone, miszoned, single-family home being debated or considered. It will be a 43,000 square foot, two-story commercial facility that requires far too many variances to make it fit and will bring with it an impact to our current daily lives. If the potential negative impact the village used to defend a single-family residential neighborhood from one spot zone property can justify supporting the integrity of that neighborhood, why is that same impact not being considered for ours as it relates to the special use permit? If you vote yes this evening, you can wash your hands and walk away, leaving our neighborhood to deal with a commercial business and whatever impact it will create. But when you look in the mirror, I honestly feel you cannot believe that you acted in the best interest of the residents of Oak Lawn and definitely not for the tax-paying residents of this neighborhood. Lastly, Mayor Burry, you lost my vote on March 22nd, 2016. Your actions through Facebook and your overall lack of transparency were not becoming or worthy of the highest elected official of this village. You will not have a vote this evening due to subsection 4-14-2D. But every resident of the village of Oak Lawn will fortunately have one vote to cast for our next mayor come the 2017 election. To those that have lost someone they've loved to Alzheimer's, my apologies to you. We're being told that there's not a high frequency of visitors to the location, but yet people today have stated that there will be. I lost my mother less than a year ago. You go to visit someone you love. You want them in a nice surrounding, in a nice area. We just want you in a commercial area. There's plenty of beautiful property in Oak Lawn that is zoned properly for it, just not this site.
Thank you, sir. Henry Meyer. Hi, Mr. Meyer. How are you today?
Fine. My name is Henry Meyer. I live 5704 West 101st Street, and I'm going to have this lights coming through my living room window all the time from those driveways. We have our cars parked all over the place. You can't say we're having more traffic instead of less. And this building is also phased, should be 26 or 40 feet from that, from the curb to the front of the building. It's only going to be 34. It's going to be 6 feet in front of every one of those houses down the street and on our side too. This building doesn't belong here. It belongs to the commercial area, so we can keep our area quiet. We won't be able to park in front of our houses or whatever. And I worry about the, like with that retention pond. With the current deal coming up with these mosquitoes, you don't know if we're going to have those dangerous mosquitoes in there. And parking, you said was going to use the school property. It's not going to use the school property. Anybody common sense are going to park right in front of us, and we won't even be able to get into our, hopefully not be able to get in our driveways. This building needs a commercial area and not in front of our house.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. Mohammed Katan, or Katu? Katan. That is an N. Thank you. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mohammed Katan. I came from Syria, 1979, hoping that this is the country of democracy and where we have the people, the government of the people, from the people to serve the people. Well, people as part of the government, the people that around that area don't want that place to be built in their neighborhood. First, that building is gonna be congested with tons of parking, tons of vehicles gonna be coming from everywhere, from the employees, from the guests, and from the parents themselves. There are many places for a building like that where it could be next to a main street. All their other branches are built next to a main street, next to a highway, except in Oak Lawn. We are very special people. That company wanted to be in the middle of the neighborhood. Why? They got a parking of 36 cars, and they are gonna have 250 people, especially on Mother's Day. Where the heck are these people gonna park? I think we're gonna be like Chicago. I already got an old sofa. I picked it up from my garage, my basement, put it in the garage, and I'm gonna be like Chicago in a snowy day. I'm gonna put it in front of my house. And I hope the other neighbors will do the same thing. And I hope you people, as a part of the governing system, will pray for the people in Syria who are fighting for the freedom that they think we have it. And I hope we have it by you voting against this project, because nobody in that neighborhood want it. We had the signature of every person in that neighborhood saying, we don't want it. They want it, they want to build it on Central. Build it in an area that next to a main street. Why next to my house on a side street? in a neighborhood very peaceful, in a neighborhood that no cars come into it unless it has a business in there. Now we are going to get ambulances, we're going to get police, we're going to get temporary workers' cars, we're going to get permanent workers' cars, we're going to get the employees' cars, we're going to get the guests' cars, we're going to get... How the heck are we going to fit all these cars on 101st Street in 2 blocks? Can you tell me how, please? Please pray for Syria and think about them and why they are fighting. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Robert Quaid.
Robert Quaid, 9844 South Major. I have one concern about this. I have many concerns about it. My first one is 10110 South Central is a school. Are you going to build this on top of the school? No, you're building it on 101st Street. So what is the real address of this project? To my union brothers, wherever this is built, you'll still have the job. If it's built on 111th, you'll still have the job. If it's built in Chicago Ridge, you'll still have the job. What difference does it make? Another thing, as everybody here has said, there's many people here, you can put this in many different places in Oak Lawn. Why right in the middle of our neighborhood? I don't understand it. You have 111th and Cicero, it's wide open, nothing there. It's been like that for how many years now? Could be built with no problem, no parking problems, no construction problems, none. No, you want to jam it down our throats on 101st Street. Traffic's going to be miserable. It's already miserable to get out onto Central from our area, unless you go down 99th Street. You say you're going to do something about that, but you'll have to wait till after it's built. You can't do anything before it's built. We don't want it. We never have wanted it. Put it somewhere where it belongs, not in the middle of our neighborhood. Please. Thank you.
Karen Horn. Hi, Karen.
Hi. I have mine on my phone, but I guess I'm a little bit more. I'm Karen Horn. My address is 5732 West 101st Place. I just want to start out by saying that I truly believe that if the Archdiocese of Chicago had come to you guys, I really don't know who Anthem went to first, and said, we have, 2.5 acres behind St. Linus. We don't want to have our football field anymore. Anthem wants to come and build this. I don't think any of us would be sitting here right now. I think you would all say, no, Archdiocese, you cannot sell your land for a profit. I truly believe that. And if you want to make Oak Lawn a place, I understand business. You want business to come in. We all do. I'm a lifelong resident. I've lived here my whole life. You can put as many mattress stores, as many pizza places, as many Anthem cares you want, but if you don't want people living here, you are not going to have a successful village. You are not going to have a successful community. You have people here who pay taxes. They have not sold their homes. They have not foreclosed on their homes. You took an oath to represent those people. Those people are here today. They are telling you that they do not want this facility in their neighborhood. You took an oath to represent them, and you should do your jobs and do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Chuck D'Onofrio.
It will be very brief. Most of our neighbors here, Chuck D'Onofrio, 10024 South Major. I'm a 44-year resident here in Oak Lawn, and we have been in that location for, I think we're 38 years in our home. We're 3 houses out from the driveway entrances and exits from Anthem. We've expressed these concerns about the traffic, which is really one of our biggest concerns there, and the ingress and egress of the people onto 101st Street. The issue is there are no easy ways to get in and out of that location, okay? The Anthem project is a nice project.
Wrong place, wrong time. There are a lot of other alternatives. Thank you.
Terry Dunleavy. Terry Dunleavy? Okay, that concludes our public comments. Pardon? You have to sign, council. Yeah. Council tells me that's the rules. I have no objection if the board would permit two speakers who want to speak.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Trustee Vorder made that motion, seconded by trustee Olenichek. Any discussion?
Mayor, the only discussion I would have is that with an issue as important as this is to the people that are here tonight, I don't think we should limit anything that anybody wants to say, and I would
Well,
hope that...
that's why we're talking like this.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, you said two. I'm
Well,
hoping
two
that you'll
people
let
spoke
everybody
up.
talk.
So,
Okay,
yeah, so let's take that vote, please.
Trustee Strite?
yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Olenichek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, sir, please come on up to the podium, and I'm just going to ask you to state your name and spell the last name in particular, because we don't have it written. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Paul Aubin, A-U-B-I-N, and I've lived at 5729 West 101st Place for approximately 15 years. Thank you for, I wasn't aware there was a signing, so thank you for allowing me to come up and speak. I believe that when that our government is about compromise. Doesn't always seem that way when we watch the news and so on. But so far of all these meetings that I've been to, it feels like the only people being asked to compromise are the residents of this neighborhood. When other issues, when other questions have been raised, like what about this site, what about this location, what about these things, we get told, well, we're not interested in that, we don't want that. I took the drawing that was provided at the last meeting, and I'll pass, I have 2 copies. The school is here, and the Anthem facility is proposed to be here. I'll send that one that way, and I'll send this one this way. And I superimposed it on Central Avenue because my understanding is that Southwest Christian School has expressed some interest in tearing down the low facility that they have on Central and expanding their 2-story facility and getting all of their students in one building, which, you know, if that's indeed true, then that, I believe this would be a perfect fit. You get the Anthem facility on Central Avenue. Everybody's being asked to compromise a little bit here. The ingress and egress from the property could be in the middle of Central Avenue instead of on 101st. That could be shared access to both the school and the Anthem facility. They could continue to see the mission. The school has expressed a need, you know, a desire to have the kids in mission with the facility. That would all still take place. And you reconfigure the parking and so that everything is coming in off of Central. It's not impacting the traffic patterns in our neighborhoods. And more importantly, for us, those of us on the cul-de-sac, we don't have this monster building that we're looking at the back of. You know, it looks very nice in the rendering when you're looking at the front, but we're looking at the trash dumps and the parking lights and the big 6-story stone wall, and completely blocking us off from. I realize it wasn't our property in the first place, but many of us bought looking at the pasture and saying this is very nice and this is something that we expected to not. Maybe it would be a house someday, but we never thought it would be a commercial facility. So anyway, that's just using their footprint. It fits. Now, obviously, it would need to be redesigned a little bit. I do have some architectural background, so I know it's possible. And anyway, that's all I wanted to say, that I believe that this is a compromise that would be appropriate, that would address, that would check most of the boxes. And I really do believe that if this is going to go forward, then that ought to be seriously considered, because putting it on the green field right next to all the residential houses is just not the right place for this. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Robin. Okay, and the lady, yes. And I'm going to ask you to also state and spell your name as well, please. Thank you.
My name is Patty Cody, COTI, and I live at 5720 West 102nd Street, which is right across from Memorial Park. And one of the things I can say in terms of, we have that splash pad right across the street, and I can say there's a parking lot with plenty of room, and people don't tend to park in the parking lot, and they're parking on the street. And because it's a neighborhood, there are kids, and I know it will happen also on 101st, that there are kids that are running, you know, and run through. And I'll tell you, I've seen some very close calls on 102nd Street with kids running across the street. And again, there is a parking lot, and people are not parking in the parking lot necessarily. When it's a little bit closer to go on the street, they'll go on the street. The other thing is with the flood zone and that flood area, I have seen the area with, I've been a 22-year resident. I've seen the, you know, it'd be interesting to know how many times in those 22 years we've had the 100-year flood, but I have seen, you know, our, you know, flooding of our street, the flooding up to our window. So I am asking for this not to be in the neighborhood and to look at elsewhere sites. Again, I am very for, I'm a healthcare worker, I'm very for having a facility for patients with, you know, people with dementia. Absolutely, that's not, I don't think, the issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Was there anyone else who neglected to sign in? Okay, one more, and that would conclude then our public comments. One more, two more, okay, and that would conclude. Okay. Hello, sir, how are you? Good.
Jim Stein, S-T-E-I-N. I live at 10112 South Mansfield. I've been there since 1976. The only thing I gotta say is, like I say, it should be in a commercial area. You shouldn't change it, the zoning. I mean, you got plenty of places on Southwest Highway. You've got the one next to Mariano's. These are all places. There's nobody in the area on Southwest Highway between 97th and Ridgeland. All the places are empty, so they're all for sale. If you do go through with this and agree to change the zoning, what's next? You're gonna build a factory next to my house? Who knows, you know what I mean? It's just, it's ridiculous, that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Stein. And sir?
No,
We did vote for two, I'm sorry.
Mike Ziebart, 9905 South Menard, Oak Lawn. Been there
Can you
for
spell your last name, please?
Ziebarth. First of all, I'm not used to this kind of government. I can't believe the speed in which you're moving. It probably would have helped your cause, Ethna or Anthem or whatever, if you would have brought us in the very get-go, in the planning stages. It sounds like you know, that everything was just rubber stamped and it was planned, and we were never considered. And the only thing is right now is, what legal course do we have once this motion is started? You have representation, Anthem has representation, the building department has representation. The citizens, we don't have anybody. All we have is our government. So that's all I want to say.
Thank you very much. Okay. So item 4 is conflict of interest disclosure. Does anyone have a conflict to disclose with any item on tonight's agenda? Okay, hearing none. We're going to move on to item 5. This is the St. Catherine of Alexandria charge on 5K. Like a motion on 5, please.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Trustee Carberry made that motion.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Stalker. Any discussion here?
I will,
Let's-
Mayor.
Yes.
The St. Catherine 5K run will be held on August 20th, 2016, and it begins at Lawn Manor Park at 108th, right off Costner, and you can go to St. Catherine's website to sign up. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Let's take that vote, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. And Trustee Desmond, did you want to advance?
Yeah, I'd like to, there's a lot of people here, and
Yeah.
let's move this up. I think it's item
So
13,
13
14, 15, and 16. Can we move
Okay.
these up, please?
Thank you. We have a motion to advance item 13, 14, 15, and 16 made by Trustee Desmond. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Made by Trustee Strite. Any discussion? Okay, so we're going to go to item, take the roll, please.
Trustee Strite?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes to move those up.
13 tonight is a request to approve the Planning and Development Commission referral for a special use permit to allow memory care facility and single-family planned unit development facility, R1/PUD, at 10110 South Central Avenue. This was a 7-0 vote to approve petition 2016-10 and PUD 2016-1. Anthem Memory Care LLC is the petitioner in District 3.
Motion to
And it
postpone.
was a 7-1 vote to approve.
Motion to
Excuse me.
postpone.
Okay, we have a motion to postpone by Trustee Oliniechek
Second.
and seconded by Trustee Strite.
Motion to table.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Just a clarification, is it a date certain or indefinitely?
On the next meeting.
Okay, so date certain, so we'll just take that vote then, please.
Trustee Strite?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
No.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
No.
Trustee Carberry?
No.
Trustee Vorder?
No.
Motion fails 4-2 to postpone.
Okay, so I'm requesting then a motion to approve item 13, please, and 14, which is an ordinance granting that request.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Properly moved by Trustee Desmond,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Carberry. Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor.
Trustee Oliniechek.
Well, the reason why and I appreciate all the residents that come out and the gentlemen from the trades that have come out. This is, in the history of this new board, this is, in my eyes, a big precedent-setting issue. I do agree with some of the comments that were made by the residents that this building, when developed, hopefully in some other part of the district or in the area, would still require tradesmen to work, so it's not going to be trades jobs. But the compromise is a concern that I have. All through the speakers, whether it was from the union side and the construction side or from the residential side, it was about the facility is a good facility. You're good people. It's about the effects and where it's being built in a neighborhood. And even in talking with the village manager and the mayor and doing my research and even talking with some of the residents, the concern has always been where it's being put in the neighborhood. That's always been the issue. And I think it was Paul Aubin. Paul, I thank you for doing that work. But I would hope that we learn from this that you would want the residents of the area to open arms and support you coming in there. And yes, it is very near and dear to them, and especially in the light of what the school changes are proposed to be done. I understand that the school has said, we're not interested in any alternatives. I understand that Anthem has said, it's either here or not there, and then you're going to leave Oak Lawn. Those are pretty strong statements. This is our village. This is the village that I grew up in. I know the majority of this board has lived or grown up in this village. I would hope that we listen to what the residents have to say. I know that we got a late-minute letter from the village, or from the Park District board president that's asking us, that's why I wanted to postpone, to be able to do more due diligence and look for a compromise in this. Because once we ring the bell, there is no unringing it. This is going to be a lifelong decision for all the residents in that area in the village of Oak Lawn. So the letter that the Park District Board President sent was this: Dear Village President and Board of Trustees, the Oak Lawn Park District Board of Commissioners respectfully request the Village of Oak Lawn President and Board of Trustees to be able to table any action at tonight's meeting regarding the Anthem Memory Care petition number 2016-10, PUD number 2016-1, and subdivision number 2016-2 in order to allow the Park District to fully investigate the possibility of acquiring property in question for the residents of our village. And when we look at this, it's not just the piece that we're looking at. And yes, it's going to replace a garage that had buses in it. I do like to point that it is larger than what that's going to replace, but you also have to take a look at what happens to the rest of the land. What happens with this school as time goes on? I would hope that any future development of this property, we would always take in consideration the village of Oak Lawn, which, yes, this school and this church have been great residents in the village of Oak Lawn for many, many, many years and have done an excellent job. And I am a little bit concerned that, yes, it is the fourth quarter and we're finally talking about what the Park District may be able to do to develop this land. But it concerns me that that wasn't the first move that was made, because this comes down to money. The school needs money. If the school didn't need money, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. And I don't blame Anthem. You are trying to build a quality facility, but it doesn't fit in that area. If it did, we wouldn't need a variance. A compromise would be a win-win for everybody. Just like when the Park District said that we would be interested in purchasing the area possibly for green space. That would be a win-win for everybody. It would accomplish the economic goal that the school would need, and it would also accomplish what the residents are asking for. And that's what I think many people who are politicians lose fact in the sight of. This isn't about anything personal. It's about the development and responsible development of our village. It's not about pitting people against each other. We've seen too much of that on the national side. Next week, next month, next year, we're still going to be relatives, friends, families, and neighbors. But to be able to work for a compromise, and I know the values that are taught at the Christian school teach compromise. Do unto others as you'd want done unto yourself. And all I'm asking for all the points that have been made here, one of the points that the residents don't understand is we as a village don't have any say-so in a private party matter. The school can sell that property and develop that property to whomever they want. When people try to say that the process wasn't followed, and there's, I've read all the garbage about monies being given under the table and all the other things that have gone on, I'm going to tell you that's 100% not true. This is about the school has property that's for sale, Anthem has entered into an agreement with it, and we have to follow the process and procedures. Could elected officials have gotten in front of this back in July, August, September, October, November, December, as this thing was coming forward? I think they could have. I think there could have been more neighborhood meetings, but it still doesn't change the fact that the school has entered into a contract with the developers of this property, Anthem. And that's where we have to take a look at it. The residents in that neighborhood make a great point. There are only basically 5 ways out of that area. 5. You cannot go anywhere west in that area, and you're stuck going only to the east side. That's a big concern of mine when I look at giving up a variance to build a business in a residential neighborhood. And once we start doing it, again, what's going to happen in the school? We can't predict the future, but we can take a look at the stats, whether it's that school or any private school. The numbers are falling. Economically, it's becoming an upside-down process. And we, as a board and as residents of the village, need to be very concerned about what's the next move. Is it next month? Is it 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And how are we going to look at the development of that property? I've talked in depth with the mayor. This is a very difficult decision. I've talked with the village manager about what we could do with this. I've talked with some of the members of the Park District Board. So I would ask, as we take a look at this, because it is an all or none right now. It's either we give you what you want and move forward, or we don't. If we don't, I have been told that the school has a possibility of closing, that Anthem will not look at the village of Oak Lawn for anything. You're not the only people who provide this service and this quality service, and we know the demographics of the village of Oak Lawn. All I'm asking you is please listen to the people that could quite possibly be your neighbors, and from the school side, look at the people that have been your neighbors for many, many years. I think the school's been around for over 100 years, is what we hear. The residents are not for it. We need to pass a variance for you, Anthem, to be able to put up this thing. It's not just these residents, there are others, but the further out you get from this development, the less it becomes your neighborhood. And that's the thing that you have to understand. This is our neighborhood. This is their neighborhood. This is very personal to them. The rest of the village, really, when you get towards any one of our other houses, it's not going to negatively or positively affect me. It could if anyone goes through a bad illness, like the services that would be provided there. But compromise. I think that everybody here, every resident is talking about compromise. Listen to what they're saying. I don't like that it's either this way or no way. I know that listening to what I listened to and then hearing what Paul said, maybe we can come to a compromise and provide more money to the school if they're willing to listen, that it's a two-phase. Maybe the Park District is able to get part of that backside, and maybe the developers would be able to develop the central side. And if you listen, everybody has said, if it's on Central and we could put it on Central, we don't have an issue. That's from the neighborhood, that's correct? It's a bad precedent that we as a village board would be setting by giving this type of variance. So thank you. I challenge the developer to look for a win-win. I challenge the school, who's been a long-term partner in this neighborhood, to look and work for a win-win. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I've lived here my entire life. Sure, there have been many changes over the years, as some of our favorite little stores, little ice cream shops, restaurants have disappeared and were replaced by national businesses. That's life, and we accept it. Change happens, and we generally adjust to that change. I've had the good fortune to be elected 7 consecutive terms to represent the people of the 3rd District and the village of Oak Lawn. I, more than anyone sitting here tonight, know that we face difficult decisions. This isn't one of those difficult decisions. Recently, Trustee Tim Desmond said that people are sick and tired of career politicians. I don't think that people are sick and tired of career politicians. People are tired of being ignored by the people that they elected. People are tired of having their opinions minimized by their elected officials. People are tired of electing congressmen, senators, and village officials who promise to listen to the people when they are running, but change their mind once they are in office. When some politicians run for office, they will tell you whatever you want to hear. But after getting elected, and they are sitting here representing you, all of a sudden they believe that only their opinion matters. Is it any wonder that Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders have brought out the biggest crowds during the presidential campaign? People are sick and tired of being ignored. They are tired of believing that the system is rigged. Right here before us, we have our own Oak Lawn residents who have told me that they believe that they can't get a fair shake here. They've told me that the Planning and Development Board didn't listen to their concerns because the system is rigged. They've told me that their opinions have been ignored. I'm an idealist. I've seen good decisions and bad decisions made by past boards. We're all human and we're going to make mistakes. However, I can't recall another time when the Village of Oak Lawn's administration was contemplating approving a commercial facility in a residential neighborhood. I reached out to Anthem, to Isaac Scott, and asked them to consider other sites. They refused. The company's refusal is not the sign of a company that wants to cooperate with our community, with the residents of Oak Lawn who make up the community that we all love. When I told the residents that Anthem was refusing to even consider another site, the people of Oak Lawn told me that it's because the fix is in and the system is rigged. Tonight, we have a chance to show that the system isn't rigged. We have a chance to truly put the people of Oak Lawn first. If Anthem wants to move into Oak Lawn, and we want you to, there are countless wonderful locations in this community. We are a large suburb, and we can make our residents happy while bringing Anthem to an appropriate location. It's been mentioned several times, but the property at 111th and Cicero and the Stony Creek Promenade is properly zoned for this facility. There is a plan that was approved by this board. It's called the Cicero Avenue Corridor Plan. The plan states that 111th and Cicero will provide for residential housing units. This would be a much better location for this facility. Christ Hospital has built several parking towers on its grounds, yet the surface lots that they replaced still exist. I think it makes a lot of sense to put a facility like Anthem near the hospital. Bottom line is that there are better locations for this facility. I can't imagine anyone here that would disagree with that statement. Quite frankly, if Anthem doesn't want to consider these sites, as Trustee Olenichek indicated, some other company would be happy to build in one of those locations. Anthem isn't the only company that serves individuals with this greatly needed care. We shouldn't even be considering putting a 66-unit, 80-bed, 43,000 square foot facility, for-profit, commercial facility in the middle of a residential neighborhood. In fact, the village manager and the staff should have told Anthem immediately that this idea would never fly with this board. He didn't do that. Instead, we find ourselves in the position where our planning and development board ignored the residents, where everybody saw that. And we must now decide if we want to change the character of this neighborhood and future neighborhoods. Recently, Trustee Vorder appeared at one of those neighborhood meetings where Anthem was discussed. He didn't say how he would vote, but he said that he has to vote for what's good for all of Oak Lawn. I agree. Allowing residential property to be used for a 66-unit, 80-bed facility that should be in a commercial area could never be what's good for Oak Lawn. If we can do this here, what is next? How about St. Louis de Montfort, St. Gerald's, Lawn Manor, St. Germain, St. Linus, or any of the dozens of privately owned schools and churches that are scattered throughout our village? Why not? Any one of these places could eventually be sold and rezoned for a special use. This is a precedent-setting issue. This board has a chance. The board has a chance to make the right decision. The board has a chance to show the people of Oak Lawn that the system isn't rigged against the hard-working residents in favor of big business, developers, and the whims of the insiders. This is a residential neighborhood. If you stand in the center of the field that we're speaking of, and you look in any direction, all you see is homes. That's it, just homes. At the mayor's neighborhood meeting, where over 200 people attended, Resident Karen Horn, who addressed the board this evening, at that meeting, she stated, "I can't believe that we are even discussing this." The same reaction should be had by anyone who's really looked at this. In an email, Resident Debbie Hoyt said, "The idea of allowing a commercial for-profit business to be built within a residential neighborhood is so very wrong that I feel compelled to join and support the hundreds of residents who are opposed to this. Allowing a commercial development to be built within a residential neighborhood is appalling to every Oak Lawn citizen I have spoken to, no matter what district they live in. It's mind-boggling to us as to why the board would allow this to happen in a residential neighborhood. And it's very disturbing to us that despite the strong showing of opposition from residents in the area to the project, the board is pressing forward with possible approval. Certainly, everyone here must have heard similar comments. Debbie Hoyt also wrote, "We choose carefully when we pick a neighborhood that we want to raise our families in, and we become deeply invested, both financially and emotionally, in where we live. To protect these, we carefully elect officials and entrust them to listen to us and to be our voice with the board. I've heard comments attributed to some of my fellow trustees that I can only hope were not said. Anthem Memory Care can choose a different location, and I'll be right there supporting the construction in an area that makes sense for everyone. Let's keep this residential property residential by voting no on this petition. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, can I just have trustee that sits to the left of me? That was a beautifully written political statement, but it still didn't have a solution to what your constituents are looking for. The solution is only with the Christian school, and I would ask that you work with them to come up with a solution. To sit here and give political speeches, you're just as bad as anybody else that's out there on a podium. This didn't happen one day. This didn't happen in one day. You are well aware of this whole thing for a minimum of 5 to 6 months. And all I'm telling you is when you use the words of whims of insiders, the insiders on this, Chicago Christian and Anthem, those are the insiders. I don't believe, and nobody here at this village has any type of an insight.
Really? Who brought
One
the
at a
parties
time,
together?
Trustee Straight, when he finishes. We're going to have order, please.
But that's the concern that I have. We need to start working together because these residents are going to be negatively affected. When you try to put all this other crap out there, it doesn't help anybody. We need to work together, Trustee Straight. In fact, be known, you never called me about where I'm at with this, what my feelings are. If I could help you, never gave me one phone call through this whole thing. And that's what the residents need to understand.
And now I'm going to let Trustee Straight respond and then open it up for other discussion.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Well,
You're welcome, sir.
First of all, the simple thing that we can do tonight is that you want to bring the parties back together to make them go back to the drawing board. We can vote no on this. This proposal doesn't make any sense. That's very obvious, trustee. And quite frankly, the one question that's really never been answered, and I'll tell you what, I'd really love to get to the bottom of it. Who brought the parties together in the first place? You say the whims of the insiders. I have my theories, okay?
Yeah, I know what your theories are.
Right.
One at a time, please, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I think, you did say earlier that that all the parties have to win, and Anthem is getting, they would be getting low-cost real estate by buying this property for about $1.3 million. 1.3, Isaac, you're looking at me with those big eyes. You'd pay twice that much. You pay the bill. You'd pay twice as much if you bought this in a commercially zoned, commercial zone, and you know you would, okay? Chicago Christian, thank you. Chicago Christian is going to, they would be getting the much-needed money. There's an option. Don Anderson did bring to the table a proposal to consider, the Park District will consider buying the property to provide open space. Don is here tonight. I know he didn't address it, but we got that letter today. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think the village could consider buying it for a flood control project. We should all get together. It should not be developed commercially. So, the simple answer is, I'll tell you what really disturbs me, trustee, is this whole suggestion that there isn't some kind of a that this isn't been fast tracked. This isn't being shoved down the throats of the residents, because it has been. And if it's not, then let's go ahead and postpone it tonight.
Madam Mayor, I agree, but he still hasn't answered the question of, did Trustee Strike talk to myself or any other the elected officials in front of this whole thing? It's a simple yes or no. Who did you talk to, Bob?
You know what?
Hey, it's not a,
All right.
let's keep it focused on
If
the
you want to
the
bring
item on
people
the
together,
agenda,
the
please.
fact is Trustee Strike didn't do his job. He's going ahead and grandstanding here. I
Okay,
don't agree with what's going on with this.
Let's keep it on topic,
But
How about-
please.
the fact is he is making a political
I'm going to open it up for
statement, Mayor.
discussion if any of the other board members have anything to say, or the manager. Trustee Desmond.
Yeah, the Park District can still buy this property. I mean, we need to clarify what we're doing here tonight. We're not approving the sale or not approving, any purchase between Anthem and the school. And just to correct both of you, I mean, this is not a rezoning or they don't need a variance. All we're doing tonight is allowing them to apply for a building permit. You know, the Park District, if they have the money, they can go there tomorrow morning and buy this property.
Special use permit.
Yeah, you need a special use to go for the building permit.
Yeah.
That's all we're doing here tonight.
No, sir, just a moment, please.
Um,
Just a moment, please. Sir, just a moment.
And-
We're going to have
and
decorum at
going
this
back-
meeting.
And going back, you know, we've heard from several people about, you know, being jammed down throats, and July the 10th was the first time that the trustees got notice on this. Every month since then, there has been correspondence between the village manager and the trustees. So every trustee there has been aware of this. It may not have been common knowledge, but it was public knowledge since last July. And I agree with Trustee Olenegic. I have not heard once from Trustee Strite on this or anything else either since, well, you know, for years. But
We're going to have
agree.
order in
And
this
it-
room,
and
please, or I will
About your
ask you
leadership
to leave.
representing you too.
Thank you.
And driving
no,
home your
where were the
point.
meetings on this? Why wasn't there meetings on this since last July, August, September? You know, we could have been. We didn't even have to be here right now. But I just want to clarify what we're actually doing here tonight. It's not up to us to approve or not approve the sale or purchase of this property. It's a private property. We have these. Where are these other locations? Trustee Strite, how many of these locations have you provided to these people? Have you spoke to those property owners that these properties are available for sale?
You know what, trust,
Well, I don't know.
I offered to help Anthem find another location.
Which one?
Any one of those. First of
Well-
all, by the way, that's not my responsibility. It's the
Well,
manager's responsibility.
it's your responsibility to the people of your district.
Okay?
One at a time, please.
Mayor,
So anyway,
these
that's
guys
all
have
I have
said
to
stuff.
say.
I have to be able to address
You have said
it.
stuff to Trustee Straight.
I have, right.
And I'm opening it up for other discussion of the other board members, and then I'll let you speak, sir.
Mayor, I'd like to relinquish my time, give the President Don Anderson an
Okay.
opportunity to speak.
Yes, I will absolutely do that. Sir, can you come to the podium?
Thank you, thank you.
Please come to the podium and speak into the microphone. There are a lot of people who can't be here and will want to watch at home. Thank you, sir.
I'm
Could
the
you
park
state
commissioner
your
that
name?
wrote the letter. I'm Don Anderson,
Mhm.
5725 West 101st Place. I've lived there for the last 38 years. And for 14 years before that, I lived at 9945 Maple. My wife and I have been 52 years residents of this town. My wife's family has lived in this town for over 100 years, so we're no newcomers to this village. I served 20 years on the P&D board in my past. I know what the process is, and I think I've fulfilled my duties on those boards as long as I've been there. I'm the one that wrote the letter on behalf of the Oak Lawn Park District you folks got today, requesting that this board of trustees and the president would table action on this in order for the Park District, who has not met, has not discussed what our position might be in the property in question. We have not talked about it. We have not met, and just give us the opportunity. It sounds like there's a disagreement between the trustees in this matter. Maybe the Park District can't do anything about it. Maybe we were not able to get involved. But at least let another governmental body in our town who's in the business of open space and green space to have an opportunity to look at acquiring some of that property over there. Generally, national standards say that for communities, there should be 10 acres of parkland, open space, for every 1,000 residents. Oak Lawn has 220 some acres of parkland. We've got 55,000 residents. We don't even have half of what the national recommendation is. So for us, for me as a commissioner, who's been elected since 1977 to the park board, to not be able to voice an opinion and to pursue the possible acquisition of that property for the residents of Oak Lawn for open space for future use would be against what I was elected for. So for not being allowed, now this is going to go ahead. They voted down the letter that I asked, that the Park District Board asked you to table on this matter. You're going to make a decision here tonight. I just hope that you make the right one. Along with being a park commissioner, I'm a resident. I live on the cul-de-sac. That's where my home is. That's where I raise my children. It's my neighborhood also. So as a resident, and I know there's many of my fellow neighbors here, this doesn't belong here. It does not belong here. There's other parcels of property in our town that's been stated. They've not been investigated yet. There may be some park property that's available. We've got some property that we're not using for parks right now. Maybe there's a thing we can do. But since you've already voted not to table this, it's going to go ahead for a vote. So I hope this board considers the village for the future, because this could happen anyplace. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, can I just?
Trustee Vorder, then trustee Oliniechek.
Hey,
If
Don,
you could stay up here just a moment,
The
please, sir.
authorization to write that letter is a board decision. When were you given authorization by the park board to write that letter?
When I contacted each one of them individually and asked if they would, and I also checked with our attorney. and
A
it was
couple of
legal.
weeks ago?
No.
Well, I was under the impression that it was discussed 2 weeks ago, and the letter was delivered at noontime
No,
today.
no. The letter was never even brought up until Sunday.
And Madam Mayor, may I add on there that was trying to work with other boards and people for a possible win-win with the neighborhood. There were conversations that Mr. Anderson, myself, and the mayor entered into to see if we could work on a win-win situation with the Park District. That's a fact, correct, Mr. Anderson?
Correct. And that's what we're supposed to do. We
That is
represent
correct.
all these people here. This board and the park board, we've got different roles, but we represent the people.
How is the Park District going to pay for this when the village already assists the Park District on a number of programs? How is the Park District going to pay for this?
That's why we need some time to investigate it. There are grants available to us. There's other monies out there available to us. Right now, the state of Illinois owes the Oak Lawn Park District millions of dollars to
redo the park?
To recoup what we've already spent on projects that were given grants that have not been paid. Hopefully, downstate is going to release those funds. And we will have the resources. We will have the resources. But
Trustee Vorder?
all I was asking was that this board tonight don't just wash this down the road and it's a done deal. Once vacant land is sold off, it's gone. It's never going to have another chance to become part of the public domain. That's the job of the Park District, if we possibly can. So all I was asking in that letter, with the support of the other four park commissioners, that I write it to this board to see if you would consider letting us investigate this before your next meeting.
Trustee Vorder.
Yeah, Don, this is an agreement between two private parties, the owner of the parcel and a business that wants to be built. Have you reached out to either one of them from the park board? Because I believe we received a letter today that said that the Southwest Christian School has a contract and they are not interested in talking with any governmental agency on the sale of that land. Am I correct, Larry?
That is correct,
Would you
trustee.
read that, please?
Mr. Mayor, Madam Mayor, and Board of Trustees, the letter you received from Mr. Anderson was delivered at 11:47 a.m. to Village Hall this morning. And the mayor immediately made that available to myself and to legal counsel. The following communication comes from Southwest Christian Schools late this afternoon. It has come to our attention that the Oak Lawn Park District has suggested a delay of this project so they can explore options to acquire the property in question. Please note that Southwest Christian Schools has had no conversation or discussion with the Park District, nor does the school or its representatives have any plans or intention of entering into such discussions. We have a valid, and I repeat, a valid legal sales and purchase agreement with Anthem. We will honor that and proceed in good faith based upon what our mission is as a Christian school. Thank you.
Now,
Okay, thank
Madam
you.
Mayor, may I
Trustee
also add
Oliniechek.
that is only, the sale only goes through if they get the variance, correct? That's the only way that sale goes through, is if you get the variance. And again, I find it very hard to believe that a partner with the village for over 100 years would turn a deaf ear on us if we wanted to purchase that land from you or anybody wanted to prior to any type of development.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Any other comments? Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, so just to kind of circle back, what we're voting on right now is item 13 and 14. This is on your agenda. It's a request and an ordinance granting that request. Let's take the vote, please.
Trustee Strike?
No.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
No.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-2 to approve.
Okay. Item 15 tonight is a request to approve the Planning and Development Commission referral of Southwest Christian School subdivision of 2 lots at 10110 South Central Avenue. It was a 7-1 vote to approve, sub 2016-2. Anthem Memory Care LLC is the petitioner in District 3. And then we have an ordinance granting that request. I'm going to just hold off while people are clearing the room, but we will do this orderly, please. Thank you. So 15 again is the request to approve the Planning and Development Commission referral of Southwest Christian School subdivision, 2 lots at 10110 South Central, 710 vote to approve, sub 2016-2. Anthem Memory Care LLC is the petitioner in District 3, and then 16 is an ordinance granting that request. May I have a motion, please, on 15 and 16?
Motion to postpone.
We have a motion by Trustee Oliniechek.
And just for clarification, Trustee Oliniechek, 2 dates are next meeting.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so a motion to postpone till the next meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, properly moved by Trustee Oliniechek, seconded by Trustee Strite. Any discussion here? Let's take that vote, please.
Trustee Strite?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
No.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
No.
Trustee Carberry?
No.
Trustee Vorder?
No.
Motion fails 4-2 to postpone to the next meeting.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve item 15 and 16?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Properly moved by Trustee Desmond,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Carberry. Any discussion here? Let's take that vote, please.
Trustee Strite?
No.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
No.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-2 to approve.
Thank you very much, everyone. We're going to go back up to the top of the agenda. Item 6. And I'll just pause on another minute or two. So we're back up to item 6. This is approval of the meeting minutes for the regular meeting minutes 2016-10, dated May 10th, 2016. May I have a motion on 6, please?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Properly moved by Trustee Desmond,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Vorder. Any discussion? Let's take that vote, please.
Trustee Strite?
No.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-1.
Thank you. 7 tonight is new business by village trustees. We're going to start in District 1. Trustee Desmond, any news?
No new business.
Thank you. District 2, Trustee Oliniechek.
Yes. The
Thank you.
Oak Lawn Green Team is going to be having their annual Oak Lawn bike tour on Saturday, June 11th. It starts at 8:30 at the Patriot Station. We're going to do 9 miles, rain or shine. And the first 100 people to register before May 31st will get a free T-shirt. And you can register at www.c as in Charlie, S as in M as in mover, O as in oak, A as in alpha, K as in kite, L as in lawn, or L as in lawn, A as in alpha, W as in window, N as in new. That's cmoaklawn.org. It's a fun time. We've been doing this now, I believe this is 5 years. Please come out and enjoy the Village of Oak Lawn. And I think the Chamber of Commerce has another
Spring into summer
spring
event
in the
that
summer
day.
that
Yeah.
will be happening afterwards. And then
There's the pet parade, there's a vendor fair, there's music, and an auto show that same day.
pet
So
parade, music, and auto show.
Yes.
Wow, what a
Vendor,
great.
vendor fair also.
Good. That concludes my report.
Thank you. District 3, Trustee Straight.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Excuse me, I didn't hear you.
Nothing tonight.
Thank you. District 4, Trustee Warder. Thank you. District 5, Trustee Stalker.
I want to bring to the attention of the folks here and at home, there's a new street sign that's been put up at the intersection of, on Central Avenue where the tracks cross between 107th and 108th. This sign is significantly larger than the 4-inch by 4-inch sign that had been at that location. By the way, that 4-inch by 4-inch sign had the wrong phone number on it. This is the correct phone number. You can call CSX for any issues. CSS has, since we put our signs up, changed their sign to a phone number that works. But either one of the phone numbers, either this number or the one on their sign now, will get their attention. If the intersection is blocked, trains are stopped, there's too much foliage, you see any illegal action, a car stuck on the track, or any issue you have with that intersection, that railroad crossing, please call this number. Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Stalker, if you see a car stuck on the railroad track, call the police first, then call that.
Will do.
Excellent. Any other news from District 5?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. District 6. Okay, thank you. That's going to bring us on to item 8, Village Manager's Report. Larry?
Nothing to add, Mayor, Board, thank you.
Thank you. So 9 is a request to approve the Traffic Review Committee referral for northbound, southbound stop signs at the intersection of 97th Street and New England Avenue. A 6-0 vote to approve. TC 1241 SS. Malgorzata Capuciar is the petitioner in District 1. And then we have item 10, an ordinance granting that request. May I have a motion on 9 and 10, please?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Properly moved by Trustee Olenichek.
Second.
Seconded, I'm going to give that to Trustee Desmond. Any discussion here? Thank you. Let's take that vote, please.
Trustee Streit.
Yes.
Trustee Stalker.
Yes.
Trustee Olenichek.
Yes.
Trustee Desmond.
Yes.
Trustee Carberry.
Yes.
Trustee Warder.
Yes.
Motion passes.
11 tonight is a request to approve the Traffic Review Committee referral for a northbound, southbound stop sign at Kilpatrick Avenue and 104th Street. This was a 6-0 vote to approve. TC 1240 SS. Daniel Farrell is the petitioner in District 6, and then 12 is an ordinance granting that request. May I have a motion on 11 and 12, please?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Properly moved by Trustee Carberry.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Warder. Any discussion? Let's take that vote.
Trustee Streit.
Yes.
Trustee Stalker.
Yes.
Trustee Olenichek.
Yes.
Trustee Desmond.
Yes.
Trustee Carberry.
Yes.
Trustee Warder.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. As you might recall, we advanced 13, 14, 15, and 16, so we are now presently on item 17. This is Ordinance 161137, an ordinance amending certain sections of Title 11, Chapter 5 of the Oak Lawn Village Code pertaining to the parking and storing of commercial vehicles. May I have a motion, please, on 7?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Properly moved by Trustee Olenichek.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Stalker. Is there any discussion on this item?
Yeah, I'd like to make a brief mention of the fact that this is not stopping people who, for instance, Home Depot from parking their trucks on their lots. Grocery store delivery trucks can be parked on their lots. This is stopping parking areas in Oak Lawn from being used as storage lots. That's the intent of this ordinance, and I hope it works. I think it will. Thank you.
One other additional
Thank you.
comment, Mayor.
Trustee
I
Border.
strongly support the ordinance. One of the problems in my district are semis which park for the night or for the weekend on some of my commercial properties, some of which keep running and aggravate the citizens or residents to live in homes.
Thank you very much. Any other discussion? Okay, so we are voting on item 17. Let's take that vote, please.
Trustee Stride?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Border?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 18 is Resolution 161127, a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement by and between the Village of Oak Lawn, the Village of Chicago Ridge, and the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago for the construction and perpetual maintenance of a steam bank stabilization project on the Melvina Ditch. May I have a motion, please, on 18?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Properly moved by Trustee Desmond.
Second.
Seconded, that was Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Thank you. Any discussion here? Let's take that vote, please.
Trustee Stride?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Border?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 19 is Resolution 161128, a resolution authorizing the execution of a release and settlement agreement. May I have a motion, please, on item 19?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Properly moved by Trustee Borderer. Any, and second?
Second.
I'm going to give that to Trustee Carberry. Any discussion here? I just want to say I fully support the settlement only as a way to save taxpayer money. I'd be remiss if I didn't state that I stand by the actions with this of Larry Deachin and the other staff members of the Village of Oak Lawn regarding the Gen Care location in our village. It's important to note that a federal judge found in our favor after hearing all of the evidence and deposition testimony. Specifically, the federal court stated that even in the light of the most favorable to the plaintiff, he could not establish his claims. This is a lawsuit that was troubling on many fronts. It became known during the course of the depositions that former Mayor Heilman provided legal counsel to Mr. Weiler after he left office and claimed attorney-client privilege. There was also secret recordings of village staff, our police officer. It was shocking to see that. So we believe the attacks in the media and on this administration were unfounded, and the federal court agreed fully. However, in effort to stave off further appellate litigation and the expenditure of tens of thousands of dollars of taxpayer money in order to continue defending this matter and seeking affirmation of the federal judge's opinion, this resolution is a fiscally responsible way to end this litigation for the residents of Oak Lawn, and this is the only reason that the settlement agreement is before the board tonight. Any other discussion? Let's take that vote, please.
Trustee Stride?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
No.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Border?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-1.
Thank you. 20 tonight is Resolution 161129, a resolution approving the Village of Oak Lawn's participation in the Cook County Home Consortium. May I have a motion on 20, please?
Motion to approve.
I'm going to give that to Trustee Borderer and second by Trustee Carberry. Any discussion here? Let's take that vote, please.
Trustee Stride?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Border?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 21 is a request to waive the formal bid process for boardroom upgrades and award the contract to AVS Chicago in the amount of $91,573 with payment coming exclusively from PEG fees received. May I have a motion, please, on 21?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Properly moved by Trustee Borderer,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Stalker. Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor.
Trustee
Can you explain
Desmond.
what are PEG fees?
Okay, so on each person's cable bill, whether it's UVerse or Comcast or I think Dish also, there's a certain fee that goes to the operation of Channel 4.
That's by federal act of Congress.
Okay, so
So
this,
the money is sitting there and it is not working for our residents in any fashion. And those of you who have seen our wonderful overhead projector not working at just about every meeting over the years. You know, we do need some upgrades here, so the staff has made the recommendation to upgrade, use that money, which could not be used for any other purpose. And I kept asking, you know, this is a lot of money, can't we, you know, put it to public safety, can't we do, and these fees are specifically for that purpose.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
It's important to mention that the technology in this room is over 10 years old. And when you talk about video and audio, that's Model T.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's necessary to do a little better production.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's just very hard to hear people. The microphones don't seem to pick up. And again, I would just like the PowerPoints to work and all of that. So, any other discussion? Let's take that vote, please.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
I couldn't hear you. Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 22 is a request to approve the recommendation to award the contract for the 2016 concrete repairs program to Crest & Sons Cement Contractors Incorporated of Oak Lawn, Illinois, in the amount of
Motion to approve.
$103,200. Properly moved by Trustee Oliniechek.
Second.
I'm going to give that to Trustee Desmond. Any discussion?
I just want to say in the over 10 years that I've been a trustee, I will tell you that there are other companies that came in that tried to mimic what Crest and Sons could do, and none of them could meet up to the quality and the standards that Crest and Son does. So I am strongly in favor of them. They do a great job and they are recognized.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
And they're an Oak Lawn vendor, too.
Thank you, Brian. I noticed that, yes. And for those of you who enjoy walking around our village, many sidewalk companies stamp their seal on their sidewalks, and I always look at what year it was put in and who did it, and you're pretty spot on. Many good quality people are doing concrete work, but those Crest sidewalks hold up. I've noticed that. So, any other discussion? Let's take that vote, please.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 23 is a request to approve the recommendation to award the contract for the 2016 50/50 sidewalk program to Burrink Commercial Services Incorporated in the amount of $14,100. May I have a motion, please, on item 23?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Properly moved by Trustee Vorder
Second.
and seconded by Trustee Stalker. Any discussion here? Let's take that vote, please.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That brings us to 24, the village clerk's report. Jane?
Okay. Approval of semi-monthly disbursements, number 2016-10D, dated May 24th, 2016, in the amount of $2,042,926.52.
Thank you. May I have a motion on 24A, please? Properly moved by Trustee Carberry,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Vorder. Any discussion? Let's take that vote, please.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
And Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
One more thing, Mayor. I'd like to thank the Oak Lawn Police Department, especially Chief Murray and Sergeant Passetti, for their continued commitment to Oak Lawn's elementary and middle school students through the DARE and EDGE programs. The DARE program teaches students the dangers of using tobacco, drugs, and alcohol, and the EDGE program teaches gang awareness. The police department teaches 22 of these programs a year in our schools, and I do attend most of them. Terry Vorder comes with me and some of the other trustees, and I'll tell you, it's wonderful to go to these schools, and if some of these students can grasp what the police department is teaching, I think we're making a difference. So I want to just thank everybody for that, and the board and the mayor, all your support.
And Jane, what you didn't mention is we are one of the few suburbs that still continues to invest in this program. This board has been a backer of it. And I will tell you, anybody who still has kids, I know Trustee Vorder and Stalker, you don't have kids in the program anymore.
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay. But it is.
Grandkids, maybe.
It is impactful to the kids. I know that my kids have learned a lot from it, and I know their friends have learned a lot from it. So thank you for recognizing them. It's a great
Thank you,
program.
and Principal Tice from St. Gerald did bring that up today, and we appreciated that, so.
You know, also, let me mention the fact that above everything else, what the DARE and EDGE programs do are teach familiarity with the police. And that's something that's very important in today's society. Children learn the police are good guys. They can go to them instead of running from them, and it's absolutely essential. So I appreciate their efforts.
Great insight.
See you tomorrow at the program, Katie.
Thank you. And Jane, I really want to applaud you for your commitment to going to those
I
and
enjoy
being
it.
there for.
It's important.
It is, and you make it a priority. And there's many times I see you, dashing off to one of those, and
It's worth it.
it is. Thank you.
Mayor, I just want to comment from the police perspective. We did this back when I was a policeman, and I think not only is it great for the community, not only great for the kids, but I think it's great for the police department, because the officers themselves enjoy this program, take it very, very seriously, and that's a great morale booster for the policemen themselves, so everybody benefits from this program.
Thank you. Any other discussion, Jane? I mean,
That's it.
Okay.
Pardon me, were you going to mention the Blue Ribbon Walk this weekend?
Oh, yeah.
Trustee Olenichek, do you want to give us some details on that?
I'll concede to
Trustee
Trustee
Vorder.
Voiter.
I don't have the details in front of me. Give me a second.
So
I'll find them on my
it
phone.
is over at
It's the
Oak Lawn
28th.
Lake.
Yes.
It's this Saturday, and I believe the parade starts at noon. And what's really wonderful is this is a big show of support to our first responders, especially our police officers. And this is organized, and there's hot dogs and snacks and a big party atmosphere afterwards. It's not a long walk if you don't like to walk too long. It's probably about a half a mile, maybe. Does that sound right?
Right.
And do you want to talk about the sponsors of it, anyone?
Actually,
organizing?
this program is sponsored by just some local residents, okay, who just feel they want to thank the police for their work. This is their second year doing this, and it's nice. Thank yous are very important in life.
And they do this rain or shine. Thank you. Okay. Any other, you want to talk about that? Okay. Okay, very good. So, no other village managers. We're going to go on to my report. 25, commission reappointment. I'd like a motion, please, to reappoint Mary Ellen Stalker to the Fair Housing Commission. This
So
is
moved.
25A, properly moved by Trustee Olenichek.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Vorder. Any discussion?
Yes, first of all, I'd just like to say that I will abstain because it's the right thing to do, but I support her strongly. She's one of the longest-serving commission members in the village of Oak Lawn.
Thank you. Very good. Any other discussion? Let's take that vote, please.
Trustee Straight?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Abstain?
Trustee Olenichek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes 501.
Thank you. Okay, general village matters. Oak Lawn Matters, I have in my hands here the sneak preview of what's coming out, and I'm going to just show it. This is going to be coming in your mailboxes probably maybe after the first week in June. We're thinking probably June 10th, thereabouts. We're so excited. It looks great. It's filled with great stories about our community. Could not be more proud of Oak Lawn Matters. If anyone's organization has events going on and would like them featured in this, we want to know. This is our community newspaper, so please let us hear from you. And just want to give a great shout out to Fanning. I love the first issue, so good start, very strong start. And if any businesses are interested in advertising, I hear there might be a sale in shoe leather coming up. Trustee Olenichik, he didn't hear me. Okay.
I heard you. I'm not worried.
So,
Bring it on.
yeah, so really exciting, really exciting. Please, I would love the residents, anyone, to come out to our Memorial Day ceremony. This is put on by the Johnson Phelps VFW every year, and it honors those who lost their lives in service to our country. I believe it is at 11 o'clock on the Village Green at the Veterans Memorial. 10:30.
Maybe a little earlier, yeah.
Okay.
At 11.
Okay, 10:30, okay. Because I know they were working with the congressman's schedule also, but, okay, 10:30. Okay,
They go to the Bible church.
okay. That's okay, thank you, because... Thank you, Patch, for setting the record straight. And those of you with families, young kids, this is a really, really wonderful thing to take them to and show them that freedom isn't free. So would like to invite every resident, especially those with veterans and children. I think that's all I'm going to say. We have item, 26. And this is going to be a little bit of a mouthful to read. See, I get choked up. I see the big block of text. 26, Executive Session 2016-05, for the purpose of number 1, reviewing for the release of minutes of closed meetings from June 14th, 2010, number 1008, April 18th, 2011, number 1106, June 14th, 2011, number 1109, July 12th, 2011, that's number 1111, August 9th, 2011, number 1112, and then we have August 30th, 2011, number 1114, September 13th, 2011, number 1115, October 11th, 2011, that's 1116, November 21st, 2011, that's number 1118, December 13th, 2011, that's 1120, January 10th, 2012, that's number 1201, February 14th, 2012, that's number 1204, February 28th, 2012, that's 1205, March 13th, 2012, 1206, April 10th, 2012, 1207, April 24th, 2012, 1208, May 8th, 2012, number 1209, June 12th, 2012, number 1211, April 23rd, 2013, that's number 1302, May 28th, 2013, that's number 1303, June 11th, 2013, 1304, July 9th, 2013, 1306, October 16th, 2013, 1308, November 12th, 2013, 1309, May 13th, 2014, 1404, June 10th, 2014, number 1405, September 23rd, 2014, number 1407, December 9th, 2014, that's number 1408, January 13th, 2015, and I have to sneeze, I think. January 13th, 2015, number 1501, February 25th, 2015, 1502, nope, maybe no sneeze, sorry, March 10th, 2015, 1503, March 24th, 2015, number 1504, July 14th, 2015, number 1505, August 11th, 2015, that's 1506, October 13th, 2015, 1507, November 24th, 2015, that's 1508, January 12th, 2016, that's 1601, March 22nd, 2016, 1602, and last but not least, April 12th, 2016, that's 1603. May I have a motion on 26, please?
Motion postpone.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Okay. Properly moved by Trustee Olenichik.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Border. Any discussion? Let's take that motion, please.
Trustee Stride?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. We're going to go into executive session now. We'll take just a brief break and let the room clear, and then come back for adjournment. Thank you.